Hi everyone, my name is Michael Hensley. I'm the art instructor at Taos High School. I have been a professional artist working in the Taos area for 30 some plus years. Don't want to tell you exactly how many and give away my age, but been doing it for quite some time. I grew up in Taos, New Mexico, but I attended art school in New York City. I attended the Art Students League in New York City and the National Academy of Design. And I also spent a little bit of time in upstate New York at the Woodstock School of Art. So I will be your instructor for the 2020-2021 school year. I am very much looking forward to meeting all of you guys. Pretty excited to start the new year off. I've been preparing lots of material and everything seems to be flowing and coming along pretty well, so I can hardly wait to get going. Just a little bit of information regarding the courses that I will be teaching for the upcoming school year. All my classes, with the exception of for freshmen, so sophomores through seniors, all my courses can be taken as dual credit classes if you fill out all the paperwork through UNM Taos. So in the fall, I teach artistic anatomy, human, and in the spring it will switch to artistic anatomy, animal. I teach a portraiture class in the fall that becomes a still life class in the spring, and I also teach a fantasy art class in the fall, which will become a creature design class in the spring. Sadly, I won't be able to have my realistic oil painting class that I usually do in the fall or the sculpture class that I do in the spring. Due to the present day circumstances, it just wasn't going to be able to work out due to a variety of concerns, mostly safety concerns. So those are the courses that I will be teaching throughout the school year. The fantasy art and the creature design are advanced drawing classes. You have to have completed at least one full year, successfully completed one full year of artistic anatomy in order to be receive consideration to be in those courses. I'd like to go over the materials at this time that you'll need for the portraiture still life class and for the fantasy art creature design class. You'll have a copy of this in PDF format posted in the announcements and also with the syllabus, so you can access this at any time and you'd be able to print it out. You should be able to find the art supplies either at Amazon, Dick Blick, or on the days that they're open. You can also find a lot of your supplies at the Unicorn office supply here in Taos, which is next to Randall's. Just make sure you call to get her hours before you stop in. Basically what you'll need for this class is you're going to need a sketchbook, drawing pencils, a sharpener, and an eraser. And I'll go over the specifics of this in particular. So for the portraiture class and for the fantasy art class, you need to work on toned paper. I won't accept drawings on white paper. So a couple of options are, here is the Artigan paper. This is really nice paper. I like to use this myself, but just so you know, this is a little bit more expensive and there are only 24 sheets in a pad. So possibly a better option for all you guys, and the one that I really recommend, are these two different pads. We have one that's toned tan, and we have another one that's toned gray, and these are by Strathmore. The size is important too. I highly recommend or strongly recommend that you use the 12-inch by 9-inch format. This, if we start up school and we get to go back again, this will fit into your backpack, and it's far more convenient to carry around with you. If you get one that's too large, you'll run into all sorts of problems. So the ones that are recommended again are the Artigan and the Strathmore Toned Gray and the Strathmore Toned Tan. Those are the drawing pads you must use for the portraiture and fantasy art class. Do not use white paper. And these are also perforated, so that it's very easy to take the sheets of paper in and out. The fantasy art class, depending on the situation, usually gets a show, an exhibition at the Millicent Rogers Museum in the spring. Unfortunately, this past spring it was canceled due to our present circumstances, but hopefully that will revitalize itself and we can have that again in the spring. So make sure you're working on toned paper. And the next thing here is pencils. So on your list, I have a selection of Verithin pencils. I really like the Verithin pencils because you can get a very fine point. And I have a listing of color options that you can use. You also will need a Prismacolor white pencil. You have to start learning how to use white in the fantasy art classes. You have to have an understanding of how to use highlights, and you'll be getting an introduction to that in the portraiture class. So make sure you pick up a Prismacolor white pencil. You also, I recommend the fantasy art class probably should have these. The portraiture class, it's up to you. If you just want the Verithin pencils in the portraiture class, that's fine. And there's a variety of colors that you can use. I always try to have a bunch of pencils at one time of the same color. I keep them all sharpened so that as I'm drawing, as the pencil gets dull or the end breaks off, I can just pick up another one and keep drawing. I don't have to stop and sharpen my pencil all the time. So getting multiple pencils of the same color is highly recommended. The white, you pretty much just need one. But what I was getting to is also, I would recommend picking up a set of the Prismacolor Premier pencils. These don't quite get as sharp or as fine a point as the Verithin pencils, but they are particularly nice for shading. So these come in sets of, on here we have sets of 12, 24, 36, 48, 72. There's also a really large set of 150 pencils. It's pretty expensive, and I don't think you necessarily need to use that. This is a set of 72. It has a lot of options. Obviously, this is costs more money, so it's not necessary either, unless you're super serious and you have the capacity to find one of these and pick it up. So these are the Prismacolor pencils. You also will need a couple of erasers. I strongly recommend for larger areas a pink pearl eraser. Then there's this Tombow Mono Zero eraser, which is really nice, especially you guys that are doing high detail. You can really touch up small little areas without wrecking your whole drawing. So this is, I use this almost at times as much as my pencil. So I strongly recommend the Tombow Mono Zero eraser. And it has a little thing, you just click it, and you can also buy replacements, eraser replacements that you can just slide in and out. And if you're able to do that, I'd pick up some replacements too. The other thing you'll need is you'll need a pencil sharpener. You always want to keep a very fine point, and this type of pencil sharpener I feel is the best because it encases your shaving so they don't get all over your floor or make a mess. So if you can get an electric one, that's for home, that's great, but when you get back to school, you'll need to have a pencil sharpener, and preferably one that will contain all your pencil shavings. So fantasy art, portraiture class, you need to have sketchbooks, 12 inches by 9 inches. Make sure it is on toned paper. I strongly recommend for portraiture that you pick up a set of the Prismacolor Premier. They have them in small sets. They're not particularly expensive. Fantasy art has to have a set of the Prismacolor Premier pencils. And then I also would recommend for both classes using Prismacolor Verithin pencils. Make sure both classes you have at least one Prismacolor Premier white pencil. And then it's recommended that you pick up this Tombow eraser. You'll need the erasers and a sharpener. So that's the materials that you'll need throughout the school year. Uh, it, you can pick them up as you go, but sometimes when you order online, it can take a little bit longer to get here. So just if you're starting to run low, make sure you pick all those up in advance. And that should cover the materials that you will need for this upcoming year. We won't vary too much out of that. So, and lastly, just to go over a few things for this week, try to go ahead and get your materials list taken care of, order your supplies. Not next week, but the following week, we will actually begin drawing, and you'll have to do your drawings and submit them online. We'll go and I'll do another little video presentation next week to go into some of the specifics with that. But for the meantime, work on getting your supplies. And if you have any questions or concern, please contact me through Canvas inbox. That will be the best way to contact me throughout the school year. I will try to upload videos as frequently as I can. At present, we probably won't be able to have many live classes. Most of your classes will be done through video, which I find is really nice because you'll be able to pause and stop the videos. You'll be able to see all the demonstrations. The class will be taught just as if we were in person, except you'll have the ability to stop it, go back, review it, replay it, do all those sorts of things. In some ways, that might be a nicer addition than if we were actually in the classroom. Other than the fact that I won't get to know all of you guys as well, and that's kind of disappointing to me because I love the interaction between myself and my students. That's a big deal, but hopefully we'll get back soon. So always check the announcements on Canvas. I will post any new announcements, video, and so forth in announcements. And when we start with our in-class work, it will always be found in assignments. But in the meantime, every time you get on, make sure you look and check your announcements. Anything new will be posted there. And I will be checking back in with you fairly quickly with quite a bit more information. And look forward to seeing you guys or speaking with you guys soon.